Each one of those one simple things will have a different set of pros and cons. Each one, this one might be, we perceive to be more relevant and motivating than this one, but this one has more distinction.
But at the same time, that goes back to what you were saying about the risk of narrowing it down to these one simple things. If it's not a trait that's going to be universally liked, it's not going to be universally accepted.
So there's a whole other sort of conversation about distinction. Let's just put the one simple thing aside for a second and say, the dilemma in marketing land, one of the dilemmas in marketing land is oftentimes the best way to get noticed is to be provocative.
Yes.
Being provocative almost necessarily means being polarizing. Being polarizing necessarily means not catering to everybody.
Pissing a group of people off.
Some percentage of people, and what we see in our work is many organizations are loath to do that. But I call it the death valley of OSTs, which is a position, a place, a one simple thing that everybody likes.
I don't think there is one.
Well, I'll give you an example of Ford years ago. Arguably, this was their one simple thing manifested in a tagline or an ad campaign. Quality is job one.
Okay.
Eminently likable.
Quality. Quality
is job one. But if you really examine that, there's no of course quality is job one. What are you fucking kidding?
You'd hope so.
No, it's job 3.
No, please.
Quality's really not that important. We're just making cars that have people in them going 80 miles an hour.
But we don't care about quality.
We don't really care.
So it becomes obvious, and it loses its meaning. Is basically what I think. Is once you start trying
either
to
loses meaning and/or has no distinction.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, there's no relevance, but it's sort of cost of doing business relevance, which makes it irrelevant. Motivation, not really, because that is an expectation. Distinction, not at all, because every car company in the world, I think, is worrying about quality.
You would hope.
And then, is it true? Good God, hopefully it is true. But when that was introduced, I'm sure all the senior executives at Ford sat around the table going,
yeah,
like that.
Because what's not to like?
What's not to like? And I can argue, what's not to like? Use that, it's a great line. What's not to like is a signal to not like it.
It's deep. I might have to use that.
I'm serious. If everybody's going, what's not to like? You're like, uh-oh, we got a problem.
Red flag.
Yeah, because polarity is good. I mean, to a point, obviously. But if 80% of the world hates it and 20% likes it, that might not be so good. But if the majority like it and some smaller percentage don't, I think that's probably good. Also goes back to target market, which is if you're really tight on who it is you care about, which also means you're tight on who it is you don't care about, then the polarization becomes less of an issue.
What happens when there's a difference between what the company thinks is the emphasis of the brand and what the customer thinks is the emphasis of the brand? Like when the one simple things don't match.
Well, I mean, the measure of the mismatch is the consequence. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if you're a corporation and you believe your one simple thing is X, and the market is telling you that it's Y, you have a choice. You can either redouble your efforts to convince them that it's X, or, assuming Y is not a pejorative, a negative thing,
spin it to your advantage.
Spin it to your advantage, right? All right.
All right, well, I think that's a wrap for me.
Well, thank you, Lindsay. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
We'll be back after this commercial.